Yo, what's going on, guys? Trey back again here to bring you another video. This one's going to be an addendum to my last video, which was the Walking Dead video, which was Walking Dead Nebraska, Season 2, Episode 8 review. This one's going to be focusing on the ending of it, Rick in the bar shooting the two scumbags from Philadelphia. Pretty much, there's some confusion out there about the ending and what exactly happened and why Rick shot them. The short version of it is basically the guy at the counter, the Weasley, kind of more pushy, skinnier guy, took a shot and then went to grab for his gun. The thing is that the scene was so quick, the clip was so quick. If you blinked, you probably missed it. And to be honest, the first time I saw it, I missed it. I missed the guy going to grab his gun and then Rick pulling his gun and shooting because it all just happened so fast. As I watched it a couple times over, and like I went to that spot and watched it a few times, it's clear the guy goes to grab for his gun to shoot Rick, basically, or with the intention, it looks like, of shooting Rick, or at least putting him at gunpoint. And that's when Rick pulls and, like old school Western style, standoff, shoots him, turns around and shoots the fat guy, killing him. So I just kind of wanted to get that out there and just let people know that there's really no confusion about it. The guy was going to shoot Rick. He was probably taking the shots to amp himself up for it. When you're drunk, it's a lot easier to do stuff like that, to shoot people, and just to do things, you have to do it. Sometimes it makes things easier if you have to go through some kind of, stressful or painful situation. I mean, if you can drink before it does help sometimes. So that's that. And was it the right decision? I mean, it's not clear 100% if the guy was going to shoot Rick. It certainly looks like it, though. He might have held him at gunpoint and forced them to bring him back to the farm, but Rick was the leader out of the three. Glenn and Herschel were just sitting there. Herschel was kind of like, just drunk out of his mind, and Glenn wasn't going to be shooting anybody. I don't think he has the tact for it, or he's just too much of a nice guy, really, and he didn't understand the severity of the situation. Rick, on the other hand, if they would have shot him, then they could have forced the other two to bring them back to the camp, and then there could, it would have been bad because then they would have gotten the drop on the guys at the camp, and who knows, 5 or 6 guys against the guys at the camp with the women. Who knows what would have happened? I'm sure which group would have won. Who knows? I mean, if the group coming in has the drop and the advantage and 2 guys, they could, put the gun to Glenn or Herschel's head and say, hand in your guns and this kind of stuff, and like, who knows what would have happened. So Rick, I think, definitely did the right thing by taking him down. There was no other way to go about it. He pretty much had to. He had no choice in the matter, really. He had to do it. I thought it was a very interesting ending, one of my favorite endings for any episode. Man, The Walking Dead this season with their endings have just been so amazing. Like, the beginning of the episodes are always nice. The middle, you got some cool development, but then the endings are just blowing me away. It started with Save the Last One with Shane shooting Otis, and then from there, we got to see Sophia in the bar at the end of that episode, and now this episode with the ending with Rick just kind of turning like that and shooting these guys. Man, was that exciting stuff. And I mean, these guys were slimy guys. Like, you've got the fatter one pissing, right in front of them, which, it just shows kind of their character. Then the Weasley one is being really rude to Herschel for no reason, and he's being condescending and kind of shouting at him and this kind of stuff, and like Herschel, I thought you quit and stuff like this, and just being a scumbag, just being a slimeball to him, the kind of guy that you see in the bar and you kick his ass, But the problem is, if you try to do that or you do that, you're worried he's got a knife in his pocket because he doesn't look very tough and he's not very big, that type of situation. So, just a scummy guy, and yeah, so, I definitely think Rick did the right thing. I don't think there was any question about it. Let me know what you guys think. If you think, Rick acted too hastily. I don't think he did. I think he kind of had to do that. It'll be exciting to see what happens now with the other guys outside. I think there are 3 or 4 guys, maybe more. Who knows, from Philadelphia. Very exciting. I think, to make a prediction, I think that they're going to get away. Rick's obviously going to get back. Glenn's going to get back. Herschel, I'm not sure about. I could see Herschel getting killed. I could see Herschel getting shot, or because a lot of people don't like him and his character's kind of had that thing about him. I could see Herschel not making it. He's drunk. He's old. He's not fast. He's not going to be able to defend himself and use a gun. So I could see Herschel dying in the next few episodes from this. I could also see Glenn getting shot, but I think it's probably going to be more along the lines of the guy will go to shoot Glenn and he'll miss. Probably. So yeah, I mean, good stuff. Badass moment for Rick. Really made him look like a crazy badass there for a while, and very cool because in the comic book, Rick did a lot of stupid things around other people. Just the way it was written, it made Rick seem like he was too nice to other people he didn't even know. Basically, his attitude in the comic book was like, if you're alive, then you're on our side. You're not on the dead side. You got the walkers and then the humans, and we should be on the same side against the walkers. And that's just not the way it works. When it comes to necessities and people starving, things like that, it's just not the way it works. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about the ending. How excited are you for the next episode? Do you think Rick did the right thing? And what do you think would have happened if he didn't do it? Later, guys. Peace.